see. We've got YouTube with us, and now back to the Zoom page. And I'm going to mute everybody.
Come on, baby, you can come over here.
Kitty cat. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. A name that popped up on the registration through Sun and Moon was Anne Catherine. Delighted that you'll be joining us at some point. Nancy joins us at times. Lisa, Kamalesh, I'm just saying some names here. Oops, sorry, playing with my screens here. Who else? Gail, sometimes Gail from South Carolina joins us. Anyway, welcome to everyone who's joining us real time and afterward through the recordings. It's March 1st, 2026. And I have an announcement to make note of. I will be traveling, maybe Jackie will be with me, to North Carolina the weekend of the 20th and 21st, 22nd. I'll be in retreat with my teachers, or workshop really, just day long, 2 sessions. And so on that Sunday, March 22nd, I'm going to record, I'll be doing this streaming, and you'll see it on the registration page with Sun and Moon. It's the registration will be for 8 a.m. in the morning. So if you can't join me at 8, you won't get to sleep in quite as much if you join me live. But you can join me at 8 o'clock or get the recording through Sun and Moon or on YouTube. So, all right, let's see. Need another. Okay, so as I mentioned just before we started, on the floor is a great option today. We'll be doing another very quiet practice. Last week we worked with the eyes, which was quite quiet, and today we'll be working with the breath and some touching to the body to feel where we're breathing. So as you arrive to your orientation with gravity, and you can also feel free to be in one position as you start now and to shift as you need to. And gracious, I've been meaning to start with the bell. So let me backtrack as you get set. And just notice what's passing through your being, the experiences that are coming through the vastness of you. As an example, I'll share that as I listened to the tone of the bell, I felt like it was saying hello to me, to us here together today. It was like a hello. And so often in these practices that I guide you through, I'll spill out attention moment by moment to the floor, the ground, to what solid things that support us. To our breath, to sound, space around, and some particulars in those realms. But you may find, and sometimes I'll spend almost a luxurious 5, 10 more minutes on that arriving. But it's very possible that just with that bell and your years of experience of attending to arriving in different ways, perhaps with different teachers and different practices in nature, in something that catches your awe, your sense of awe, that you're very, very present right here now. I'm going to pass along an invitation today that my teacher, Russell Delman, we have roughly monthly calls where those of us who study with him get to participate. And he was noting that the things that grab our sense of awe or create it in us, I'm not sure which way it goes, maybe a little both. Like I was just thinking, nature, being somewhere. Yesterday we walked a little bit in Rock Creek Park in an area I hadn't been before. And just looking at the water in the creek, it's a pretty big creek, moving over the boulders and the sound so easily grabs a special kind of deep attention and gratitude together. And Russell was saying that there are actually so many things in our more mundane surroundings right now available to us, that if we just linger a little bit longer, and I'm calling it the 3-second rule, just a few more seconds, just pause with it or them, whatever the thing is. And so much of poetry from the sages through the years points to that. And I'll share with you, as I often do, a poem from the little book with the elephant on it, the Poetry of Impermanence, Mindfulness, and Joy. A poem Jackie read a few weeks ago or months ago. I think it's a Polish poet, Wisława Szymborska, no longer alive, born in 1923. The poem is called Miracle Fair. It's like a list. Sorry about the dinging. I don't know exactly what to do to turn it off, so I'll just let it be like little chimes that bring us to presence. This is like a categorical listing of miracles. The commonplace miracle, that so many miracles take place. The usual miracles, invisible dogs barking in the dead of night. One of many miracles, a small and airy cloud is able to upstage the massive moon. Several miracles in one. An alder is reflected in the water and reversed from left to right, and grows from crown to root, and never hits bottom, though the water isn't deep. A run-of-the-mill miracle. Winds mild to moderate, turning gusty in storms. A miracle in the first place. Cows will be cows. Next but not least, just this cherry orchard from just this cherry pit. A miracle minus top hat and tails. fluttering white doves. A miracle, what else can you call it? The sun rose today at 3:14 a.m. and will set tonight at 1 past 8. A miracle that's lost on us. The hand actually has fewer than 6 fingers, but still it's got more than 4. A miracle. Just take a look around. The inescapable earth. An extra miracle, extra and ordinary. The unthinkable can be thought. So I'm going to let that segue us to stillness for a few minutes, maybe about 7 minutes. Rocky disagreed, or he repositioned my dog, as you might choose, as I mentioned, at any point, reposition if you need to. And let the vastness of yourself, the non-time bound self, really not even bound by any spatial limits, but all that's hard for the mind to believe. But we can feel it and let all experience that's happening float through. An experience may include the ways that you respond to the things that float through. They're all floating through. Some may seem more personal or more volitional than others. But again and again, invite yourself to rest back as the vastness. Perhaps there's a usual miracle happening in your space of an invisible bird chirping. Or a miracle that's lost on you until it's so loud, like a sensation in the body. If you find yourself in some kind of struggle with your mind or this practice or your body, and at that moment that you are conscious of that struggle, and maybe conscious of the reaction to that struggle and another reaction, there's often a chain or a clamping down that kind of reinforces the struggle. Maybe take 3 breaths. Maybe imagine stepping back just a little bit and sort of as our teacher Rixie, I think this was her phrase, something like, "Ah, is that so?" Or, "How interesting." Just giving yourself a little bit of space to, uh, well, say hello and give some acknowledgement to what's happening, perhaps before the usual reaction that you have, which might be, I'm doing something wrong, thinking that, or trying to push it away, or somehow cogitating about it some more. Step back, give yourself a little more space, give it a little more space, which may just change the perspective on the whole experience, the relationship of this part of yourself to yourself. And we'll very gently segue toward our mini movement, which at first will just be sensing parts of our body. Imagine that your torso, roughly from your throat, it's almost like I'm thinking of a rectangle where the 2 corners of the shoulders, the 2 corners of the hips create a rectangle, and maybe a, what's that called when it's not a cube, but a cuboid if it's longer. So it's got dimension, it's got depth from front to back. Let's divide it into 6 to where, well, first, actually, I reminded I wanted you to do this. If you'd like to actually bring your hands out to meet your palms to meet in front of your heart, you don't even have to open your eyes. And then just draw that line that's right at the center of you, down the front, and that divides the rectangle into 2. And it's fascinating on its own how we feel where that midline is so accurately. Then you can let your hands rest again. And then let's divide that rectangle acrossways. So there's a band across the top that, since there's a line in the middle, there'll be 3 segments and it'll make 6 total. So 2 at the top, closer to the shoulders, 2 kind of at the upper belly, lower ribs, and 2 down at the lower belly. So we've got sort of 6 squares. But if you then divide front and back, there are really 12. We put a panel down the middle of us front to back, and we've got 12 spaces. And then any way you like, You can take the same side hand or opposite side hand and bring it to, I brought mine to the upper left space of 1/12. And just take 3 breaths, feeling that space, the breath. And then move to one of the other squares. You'll have to sort of keep a track of how you're doing this. You can also, I was doing this on the floor and I was sort of rolling to make it nice for my shoulders and hand, very easy to feel. Once the hand gently rests there, kind of says hello, begins to really listen through its tactile senses for the 3 breaths. So I'm working with the front just yet. And then when you finish those 3, go to another square, cuboid. And you can linger a little longer than 3 breaths. This theme is coming to me today of this visiting, of saying hello. I even feel like I want to say, see you later, goodbye, as I'm leaving one of the spaces. And you can go to the back, visit those spaces before finishing the front if you want. Just go in the order you like. And if they're too hard to reach or touch on the back, you can just feel with your mind's sensing. Stay relaxed. You might check your jaw or your eyebrows or the shrug that comes as we sometimes as we concentrate through the shoulders and shoulder and neck torso connection. Each space a little bit different. Noticing what you feel, what comes through the vastness of you in this listening. I might have revisited some of my squares inadvertently. So don't worry if you lost track a bit. Just guess where you are. So take your time. We'll take about another minute to wrap this up. If you're far from done, don't worry about it. If you've been done, don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. And then just let your hands, when you have visited each of the 12 squares with 3 breaths each ish, maybe a little more. And just let your hands, arms rest. Come back to stillness without holding yourself still. And I'll share another poem. It's one of those 2-poem days. So that what we've worked with today is that richness, that rich practice of coming to stillness, coming to the present. And we also need to act in our life. So always being, always becoming. And this poem from Mary Oliver's collection called Dog Songs takes us to that action part. So both are needed, the stillness and the action. Showtime. And here come the dogs, brushed, trimmed, polished. What on earth have they done to them? Said Ricky, who was a dog. They're half shaved and wearing pillows on their heads. And where are their tails? It's the rules, I said. And look at those women trying to run. They sure don't look like you. Thank you, I said. I'm getting a headache looking at all this. I have to bark, and he began. It does no good to bark at the television, I said. I've tried it too. So he stopped. If I ever meet one of these dogs, I'm going to invite him to come here where he can be a proper dog. Okay, I said, but remember, you can't fix everything in the world for everybody. However, said Ricky, you can't do anything at all unless you begin. Haven't I heard you say that once or twice, or maybe 100 times? So if you'd like to stay where you are, that's fine. If you'd like to come up to seated for the ending the practice and hearing the bell and bowing, you're welcome to do that. Turn on the... And then perhaps without looking, you can let your palms find each other right at the midline. That interesting miracle. I bow to you and to all our differences and our commonalities, our uniqueness and our paths. All right, I'll end the recordings. Join us next week. Check our website, sunandmoonstudio.com, and thank you for joining.